Good morning. You got Bug and Wayne here. Another episode of Gray Beers. Appreciate all the what's up, Wayne? Wayne get a little customary
Good
hand
morning.
wave as he do he do every week. We're coming to you live from our homes in South Carolina. We're going to talk about I think we'll talk about HOAs. It's a topic that was kind of kicking around the can. It just came up doing, throughout the day earlier this week. So making me laugh. This dude
That,
makes me laugh all the time.
that's because
So
someone behind you. Good morning.
oh shoot. Oh yeah, we can see. We saw all your nudeness going by. We're gonna
No,
be on
no,
TV.
she was fully clothed.
I thought I'd just shake her up a little bit with that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
she's like, what?
I know, right? What in the world? You're supposed to be upstairs in the cave, but you're downstairs.
And it just goes to show that here at home and his family.
Hey,
You
you
know,
never know, man. So
never
anything,
know.
Jada could come down here or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got my glasses on today. Switch up a little bit on my look. Hey, babe. Oh, nah, she want to be seen but not heard.
She
Oh,
do
there she go.
exist. We've heard this rumor that she do exist.
Yeah, Bernard is a real wife here. She lives here and take care of me and stuff like that.
Does she
You
know
know.
we call her Lexington Medical?
No, she don't know that. Baby, your nickname is Lexington Medical because that's what used to pop up on the phone when you call me. I'm Lex. Every time she'll call when we're in a deep conversation or two, and I
Uh,
have to get out. Yeah, so they're a little bit jealous, baby. They're a little jealous of your time. Like you interrupting, I
My
got
wife
time.
never. My wife. If my wife calls me, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something
Nope.
broke.
Bernadette will call me and tell me to bring her some cookies or something.
Yeah. Well, that's because you're still in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, that's true.
She,
That's true.
at this point, she's still interested in talking to you.
Right, right. Yeah, that'll change in about 6 months. But yeah, so Wayne, let's just jump right into it, man.
Yeah.
HOAs. Uh, what's your perspective on it? I think I already know.
Um.
Uh,
Well, I already told you I don't like them. I
yeah,
understand they have a
look at
purpose, and
look at that ghost again.
yeah, the ghost good. I understand they have a purpose. I just don't care for them. I mean, we all live in a society full of rules and everything, right?
Bingo.
Um, one reason I like some cheap, right? I think
Huh?
most of them they charge too much, or they're because the people that are on the board, or I don't know if they get a stipend or whatever, or expenses, what have you. Like most things, I think they end up, oh, we need to fill the coffers. We got to have this money set aside just in case the grass gets too tall and the lawn care guy don't show up to trim the bushes properly. I don't know.
Now that's a perception, right? I mean, is it actual? Is it, what you're saying? Um, you have you ever lived in a neighborhood with HOA?
No, my last time, I mean, I've only owned three houses, right?
Oh, you poor deprived individual.
Yeah. Um, my last house that I had that I just sold, well, I just sold 2 years ago, but over two
Man.
years ago, we
Mhm.
didn't have HOA, but we did have what they called covenants,
Yeah,
rules, but nobody to enforce them, right?
right.
And I didn't have a problem with them because I agreed with them. I agreed with the rules,
Mhm.
to a certain extent that I could still, you can, I mean, one of the rules, you couldn't have a shed in your backyard with a metal
Right.
roof.
And why does that matter? I mean, some of the things they put in HOAs are just ridiculous. Like, why does it matter what if it's a wood roof, a metal roof, plastic? I don't see a benefit. Now that
Well,
stuff like that kind of burns me with
well,
HOAs.
yeah. Well, what happens if you really take a look at old metal roof sheds, they turn
Mhm.
into rusty garbage, right?
Right.
It just happens over time because people don't take care of their stuff. Let's just face it. Um,
Yeah.
it's just That's the old shed in the back where we put all our stuff, our our treasures, and 25 years later they go, oh, that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
They put I'm guilty, you know.
Right. So, but the design of the HOA is to keep your neighborhood looking presentable and keep the value of your house or your property up, right? And if somebody got old rusty shed back there, I guess it's not
Yeah.
appealing to the eyesight. People that's potentially selling their homes, buyers coming in looking like, oh, we don't live next to that guy. He got a rusty shed, right? That's the mindset?
Well, I think people they they go into these home area, HOA subdivisions, if you will, or whatever neighborhoods. Um, with that, does it really protect their investment of home? I don't know. I mean, I there's probably statistical proof out there.
Hmm.
If you did more research in them, I'm just looking. Things are expensive as enough as it is.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you add another, what I don't know, what some seem pretty reasonable. No, lay down. Come on, lay down. Things to me, what is reasonable to one may not be to another.
Right. And yeah,
Most
this is
people are
my
on the
thing.
edge financially all the time.
When you move into a neighborhood, if neighborhoods that have HOAs, the HOA is already pre-existing, right? It's already there. You got the rules up front, right? So I'm thinking you need a HOA for the HOA. I mean, you need somebody to regulate the HOA. Now, I'm thinking in theory that the regulators are the people that live in the neighborhood, but it
Mhm.
seems like a lot of times you don't have any power over the HOA. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
They got they, they got this unlimited power. They can do what they want to, enforce what they want to. You can't regulate the HOA. If we need rules, right? I think they need rules as well. If you can have some kind of measure of control over the HOA, I
well,
think
that's
it'll be
where,
helpful.
yeah, and then that's where I mean, they do, the residents do, or they should. If you really
Right.
did your research or your homework when you looked at buying this neighborhood,
Mhm.
the most of the people on the board of the HOA are elected by people that live in that neighborhood.
Yeah. My neighborhood, the land baron, if that's a proper term, he
Hmm.
got all this land. He owns the land. He decided to develop it, make a neighborhood, and he's in charge of the HOA. I think it's a conflict of interest, but I didn't do research. I saw a house. I liked it. I moved in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
But
mean, you well, and everybody goes, "Well, you could always just sell your house and move
yeah,
somewhere else, right? If
yeah,
you
of
don't like
course.
it." Like that's an
Yeah,
easy task. We know,
yeah.
we both know it's not an easy task. One, to find a home, two, to
Mhm.
finance it, you know, and three, the affordability. You may have that house that's your dream house. Um,
Mhm.
like you and I both we're old enough, and we've been very fortunate to get to where we're at, where we both basically have the homes of our dreams, if you will.
Yeah. In our
Um,
silver, in our
mhm.
silver age that we're at.
Yeah,
Find out.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's hard. I'll tell you what, both of us are knocking on 6-0 here, and I feel
yeah.
for people. I know a lot of people that are still renting. They rented their entire life. You know,
Mhm.
and there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that. I don't have a problem with people that rent. I personally feel I'm wasting my money, but that's a whole nother topic
yeah,
to buy or
yeah.
not to buy. Should I just rent or lease?
Mhm.
I feel I missed out a lot of times being in the military. I
Mhm.
rented for probably most of my well, at least over half of my Air Force career, you know.
Yeah. Renting is like having an HOA on steroids, right?
Yeah,
I
man, they
mean,
just come knock on your door
absolutely.
and say, I'm coming in home and, you know, the move.
Home inspection.
Yeah.
I'm spraying for ants. Yeah. It's like being in the dorms, as a military person, you know what I'm saying? First shirt knocking on.
Some of our
Home
veteran
inspection.
friends that watch this will totally understand what you're saying. They just
Exactly.
knock and want to come in. Open the door. I'm coming in.
Yeah.
We're
And
just
that's what you're subject to with the if you rent, that's their version of a HOA, they can just do what they want to.
yeah.
Um,
That's
but out here,
unfortunate. Yeah.
yeah, but out here in my neighborhood, the goods of the HOA, for personally, I think I kind of like them. There's some things in it I don't like, but I feel comfortable, right? That
Oh, sure.
my house is gonna keep its value if we regulate the neighbors, right? You know what I'm saying? You ensure that neighbor don't park his Sanford and Son truck
That'd be
in the
correct.
front yard on the grass. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Because humans need regulations, right? You gotta get a neighbor with 12 pit bulls in the back. You know what I'm saying? That could be dangerous to you and your family. They gotta
uh,
humans just need to be regulated.
yeah.
Now, if
Well,
you don't like that, like you said initially, right? You just don't buy in that area. Out in the country, buy 100 acres like yourself
yeah. I don't
in the
have a
middle of
hundred
nowhere.
acres, but my trailer in the woods, you know.
It's right.
I mean, look,
So, but
I mean, this is my internet cable right here, you know, that
yeah.
hanging down from the wall.
hmm So, we pinged a couple folks about this HOA, right? It
Hmm.
seemed like most of the individuals that chimed in on the HOA, they looked at it as a negative uh, policy, a negative thing. No one seems, not many, I should say, like HOAs. They don't like, but it's humans, right? We don't like regulation. We're Americans, right?
Well, there,
We're free, right? We
yeah.
don't want
But you
no
hit it right there.
freaking
As
government.
Americans, we have all these freedoms that most people we take them for granted, right? But again, we could talk about that as a whole nother episode of, you know, old men
Maybe.
talking about life.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I will, you know, not to stop your just take a
Now go
break.
ahead. What do you think?
The one person that I found it interesting. I never knew this about him, guy we work with,
hmm
that he's a HOA president.
Yeah.
No, and it was
Yeah.
funny how that topic came up, and then he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm a HOA president in my neighborhood," and it
Right.
gave us his perspective of things, right? Why does he do what he does? You know, you don't have to just pay your fees and follow the rules, and you don't have to be bothered. But he took it upon himself to run to be president or what have you.
Right.
You know, and he highlighted some of what you're dealing with as the developer
hmm
to control his development.
hmm
Either appointed himself or wrote it in to the bylaws of the HOA, which I'm assuming that the rules. Uh,
Yeah.
that someone from his company will manage the HOA.
Hmm. Okay, so I mean, how much control does he have? I wonder. What is he like? The police? He reports to the judge and is like, "Hey, we need A, B, C, X, Y, Z." I mean, I wonder. I mean, we don't know. I'm just wondering
Yeah, well,
how much.
most of them have it written in there that the homeowner can be fined. You know, they give a notice. There's a process, right? Whatever. It's like
Yeah.
getting a ticket. Your grass is too tall, or you got weeds growing up in the sidewalk. You know.
hmm Yeah, I got that. I mean, the authority that he have over the residents is one thing, but how much can he make suggestions? Is his suggestions heard by the landowner? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
does he contractually like say, okay, I see you, we need to build a freaking park or whatever out here? Like I think that might have came up. And he was like, hey, y'all want this stuff, it's gonna cost you more money. I mean, we got to pay for it some kind of way. You're
Yeah.
paying $300 a month. I mean, $300 a year now. It's gonna go up to $500 if you want this park for your kids or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, or he can just, hey, he's just a figurehead. I don't know. I'm just trying to. I wish
Well,
I'd
I
have asked
mean,
him about that.
well, one thing too, uh, I'm sure it's in there. They can vote things in or votes. I just don't know the intricacies of his
Mhm.
particular, we just kind of touched the surface of his, they wanted to build a park and he's like, well, hold on a
Yeah,
minute. There's a lot of extra that goes on. You just aside,
insurance. Yeah,
yeah,
he
with the
mentioned that.
insurance upkeep, who's going to maintain it?
Yeah.
That's all costs money, and that
Hmm.
means who's paying for that? They think, now if the community of owners decide, yeah, we want to take on that burden,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. Uh,
Right.
Me
True.
personally, those just turn into, garbage areas, just, you know,
I
personally.
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it on, in military installations, someone, parks in the housing area that they would put in, um, kids just place to hang out, right? And everybody thinks that's good, but when all it takes is one influential person to start causing troubles, right?
Hmm.
They're not out
Hmm.
there, reading the Bible or, doing craft ideas. They're out there getting into trouble, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've
And
all been there.
anything.
When we went to the park, wasn't go, as very when we were very young.
Yeah.
My dog just run in here and she's looking at me. Is the squirrel back? Is he back? Is that why you come? No.
The hummingbirds are back.
Yeah, she's looking at me like, Dad, there's something out back. You need my attention.
Yeah.
In a minute. I'm busy. No, go lay down.
She's like, no, I want to be on the podcast.
No, lay down. You got a bed right over there. Go get in your bed.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for that.
No, you
Life,
good, man?
life, you know how it is.
Yeah. Like
Not
I just had this ghost run by, you know what I'm saying? So I get it. I get it, man.
Yeah, well, that's because you changed up our background again, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about, oh yeah, just, it's just I don't, I think they're a good idea if they're properly policed, and we all like to think parents are being parents and not,
Hmm.
I don't know how it was for you, but I know there was times I'd come home from school and just be me and my siblings are home. My parents both worked, for the most part.
Hmm.
Um, and as we got older, because my youngest brother, well, my only brother, my younger brother, um, he's like 5.5 years younger than me.
Hmm.
And so and my oldest sister, the oldest, oldest sister babysat us for the long, when she
Yeah.
could. But my mom didn't really make her take care of an infant, or a
Hmm.
toddler. So she still worked, but it was like after hours cleaning. She did clean. She worked, my mom always really worked, always had a job that I can
Okay.
remember. So, um,
Hmm.
our,
You know, speaking of your mom and your parents and you growing up in that era, right? It may have been the same for your community where you grew up at. I know where I grew up down in Georgia. A lot of things we didn't have HOAs, right? Not where I lived at. We lived out in the country, but it seemed like there was a tradition, right? Everybody mowed their lawn on Saturday. Everybody policed their own area. It was just like it was intuitive, you know what I'm saying, to try to keep your house. And it was, a little competition, you know what I'm saying, of course, but it was just an innate thing for people to just maintain their yards and stuff like that. Yeah, and then you had the individuality. I mean, you may have some individuals that had junk cars, but they would be in the back corner. It seemed like they was mindful of that. You know what I'm saying?
oh
They
yeah.
didn't need it. They didn't need to be regulated. So now, fast forward to our adulthood. You know, I think that's a selling point more. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we got an HOA out here, and people go and they see these nice little neighborhoods with the sidewalk. We're regulating this. We're going to make sure we're going to ensure this, that, and other. And a lot of times, I believe this is my opinion. HOAs they fail, right? Or expire. If your HOA expire, then a lot of times the individual's gonna just they're gonna just wild out. And it's about when your HOA expire, you probably need to move in this modern era. You probably need to go because you're gonna get all kind of stuff coming in. You know what I'm saying? There's no regulation. I'm putting my boat out here in the front yard. I'm gonna raise my 17 pit bulls. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have a cow and some chickens. Somebody out here in my neighborhood got some chickens, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's their American right. They feel like, hey, apocalypse coming. I might need some eggs. I might need some food. I don't know. But if you do live in what the pros and cons, I think if you got a good HOA, it could be beneficial, to maintain your property value. My neighborhood, uh, the neighborhood is good right now. I think simply because in the back of folks' mind, there is a HOA out there. You know what I'm saying? And I think that helps keep folks in line. Hopefully, most folks that move out here just have that intuitive knowledge to say, I need to keep my property up, not only for myself, but for my neighbors as well.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear what the comments going to be about the HOA, the various experience and stuff like that. See what other folks got to say.
Well,
Um,
well, we all live, if you live in a city or some, municipality, they all have rules too, where they'll come by. I, if their house doesn't look like it's been lived in or whatever, there's city ordinances too that they'll come by and enforce rules as well. They're just not as strict.
mhm.
When you look at, the city started, you couldn't put, if you couldn't put a car on the street and up on blocks.
Makes sense.
Um, you can't, have out there having, a concert in your backyard at 2 in the morning. They they have rules to that as well. Noise ordinances and stuff like that. So, in a sense, a lot of people live in an HOA and don't even know it. You know.
I found out when I got this notice that not this neighborhood, but the neighborhood before, um, it was like you owe $50 to the HOA because you parked your truck with your lawn equipment on the road and it was out there overnight. I'm
Hmm.
like, what? And then there's language in that thing that if you don't pay it, like they can take your house or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Well, we both know who's an IMA in our unit that they almost lost their house. They had to go to court over it because
Yeah.
they wanted to do something in their
Hmm.
whatever home they were living in. Um,
Hmm.
and they were like, no, I'm not changing it. I can't, I paid to have this, whatever it was done. I don't know. I don't recall the
Well, yeah.
exact details, but
Yeah.
yeah,
They
he
built some.
about
Yeah.
lost his house over that.
That's great. When you gonna kill me? Because I accidentally did something to the timer and it's not working. So
That's all right.
we're lost in the sauce. At least
Yeah,
I am.
I got you covered,
My man. I
bro.
appreciate you.
Yeah, we're a little over 21 minutes right now. So
Okay, sure. We got about 9 minutes to kick it. So,
yeah.
yeah, man. Yeah, I'd love to see what the comments gonna be about the HOA. Maybe we'll revisit this topic
Oh yeah.
sometime in the future. I mean, we got multiple things to talk about. But let me say this here.
Well, I got a couple. Don't remind me. Give me a couple minutes
Okay.
when you go on that. I
Yeah, I'm
don't
gonna
want to
make it
mess
quick.
your train of thought up, but
Okay.
personally, I like HOAs. The intent of an HOA, if you agree with the rules, right?
Right.
Um, Unfortunately, people don't know what they're getting into when they say, "Oh, it's got an HOA." They think
That
it's
was me.
like, you know,
Yeah. Hey,
Well, that's going to
good
be
know.
great. Until they really get into it, and they're like, "What do you mean? I got to edge my sidewalk or keep my bushes trimmed or
Yeah,
outside appearance?" Because typically, let's face it, HOAs typically deal with what goes on the outside of your home. They don't really care what goes on inside, but
yeah,
outside,
yeah.
because it's
For
all
the most
about
part.
appearance, right?
Yeah.
And I personally think that HOAs can be discriminative, right?
Hmm.
That
What you mean?
well, they can discriminate against people because they want time is running out. It says yeah, I know that they will they can force good people out of a neighborhood because they want them to paint their garage door a certain color, right? Or
Yeah,
they
well,
want
yeah,
their
my
front
dad went through
door,
that.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Hmm.
they're even though personally, because they want their cookie cutter house to stand out differently from other people, right?
Right.
Um, I don't
True.
want to use the word racist because I don't think that's appropriate, but I think they can be very discriminative, discriminating against people that have different ideas. But they just, to me, they get too nitpicky on the rules, right?
Yeah.
That's
The
my
rules got to
view
make
on it.
sense. Yeah, the rules definitely got to make sense. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But the average person, and I'm an average person, when I, that Bible of freaking paperwork you got to sign. I'm sure they briefed about the HOA, but you're just so excited to move into your new house. You're like, yeah, 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 yeah. I'll do it. I won't do it. Blah blah blah. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And that's I would imagine about 90% of the home buyers are in that situation, and then a year later, what? Huh? I can't have cows in the backyard?
Mhm.
Nah, bro, you can't.
What
You can't
about
put
my
that
pet
cow back
chicken
there.
and ducks that I have? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think realtors take for granted people's knowledge of what an HOA is, right? They say, "Oh, we got an HOA," but you know, something, you're like, ah, whatever. What could the rules be? What could, whatever. How
Yeah.
much is everybody? The first question asked, well, how much are the fees? Or how much?
Right.
Some
That's the
people
only thing.
are. You get a first time home buyers never dealt with it, never personally dealt with HOAs. I never lived in one. Like I said, my other house, my last house had covenants, meaning
Hmm.
certain rules like the metal shed roof,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a very, um,
What would you do if you saw someone in violation of the tin roof thing? You know what I'm saying? What would you do as a person that lived in the neighborhood? Would you report the violation? Did you care? What
no,
was
I didn't care.
Yeah, that's me. I mean, unless it's something really ridiculous, I'm not that guy. I got snitched on by one of my neighbors out here. But I think I told you about that.
Yeah, you
I have a
did.
trailer park. This cat was they was enforcing the rule on him, but not me.
Well, the question I would have is like, you mean I can't park on my street overnight?
Yeah,
Is
you
that a
know
rule violation? I don't know.
that
You'd have to look at your
it
rules.
is. It was a rule violation, man. I got a ticket. I got a
I noticed.
citation or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah,
and I got a fine, a $50 fine because I left my vehicle out there overnight. And
yeah,
you know what? The heavy Chevy, some lady. Now I had it parked with the flow of traffic, right? This lady left a house down the street under the influence of alcohol, hit my truck rather, and she left the scene of the accident, right? But she did have integrity. The next day when she sobered up, she came back and was like, "Hey, I was partying last night and I hit your truck." And I want to pay for the damages and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, well, dang, that was mighty noble of you. You know what I'm saying? And I understand why you didn't tell me last night because you was under influence. So, but when she found out how much it cost her for the damage, that's where the problem came in. I said, hey, it's going to cost $1,000. I called an adjuster out there.
hmm
And then that's when the problem came. So the local law enforcement got involved, and she was like, "Hey, he can't park like that." And as far as law enforcement was concerned, it was like he's parked with the flow of traffic. He's good, but she couldn't articulate the fact that hey, he's breaking the HOA. So she didn't know how to do that. So I wound up getting my truck. Well, I got the money. I didn't get it fixed. You'll see that dent tomorrow at work. But I put the money in the bank. Me and my wife went to we went to freaking I think we went to Hawaii something with that money. Am I a bad guy? No. I was like, hey man, you hit my property, so But I
Yeah,
guess that's why they don't want you parked on the road overnight. I guess I don't understand that rule. Maybe it makes it look junky or something. I don't know.
yeah,
I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know.
understand. Maybe you need to be cognizant of drunk drivers. You know what I'm saying? Don't park here. You need to leave a safe way for these bad boys that drive under influence. I don't know. I don't know what it is. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're about running out of time here, so we can leave it on that. I would tell everybody, write down in the comments what your experiences with HOAs are. I don't
Yes.
really have a lot because I'm not a big fan, if you will. I understand why they exist, and if you feel that, don't complain about them. You bought it, right? You bought into it. You
I'm still gonna complain. God dang it.
yeah. Unfortunately, if you feel you don't have any way to change the rules, that it's like you're living under
Mhm.
some kind of my dog is sitting there bugging me. What's up? Come here. Well, come here. Oh,
She's trying to steal the show, man.
yeah, she will too. She's a big ham, aren't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you? Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyways, for on that note, that's my stance. Sorry for your troubles.
Yeah. Hey, I'm middle ground on the HOA. You know what I'm saying? Now, I can see the benefits of the HOA. Some things are ridiculous, but I just wish we could regulate. I just wish the folks that have HOAs could have more power. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
To enforce it. Like, hey, if your guy's not going to do this, we should have some power to make you do what you said you was going to do. You know what I'm saying? In a timely manner. See, I told you,
Mhm.
still in the show.
All right. Well, let's sign out on that one there, Ernie.
It sounds good, man. Hey,
All right.
like Wayne said, hey, leave your comments out there. Looking forward to those. We like that. Give a little special shout out to my partner Wayne. You know what I'm saying? He put this stuff together. He does all the background stuff. He's kind of covering down for me because he knows I'm a really, really busy man. So,
You are a
but
busy man.
as the sun goes down, as winter approaches, I get more and more involved with what we got going. But I appreciate you, Wayne. Appreciate
Yeah,
everything you do.
I appreciate it. And everybody, like, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Share with your friends, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, give us some ideas too. Anything you want to hear us talk
Yeah,
about,
write some
hey, put it
ideas.
in the comments, and we'll consider it. And more than likely, we'll do it.
Yes,
Sounds
sir.
good.
All
See you
right.
next week.
Here.